crikey, it's a bit chilly. London got kind of cold. Hi! So, this week we were meant to have Nabihah Iqbal on, who is an amazing producer, a singer, songwriter, DJ, radio presenter. She's just such an all-round badass. But unfortunately, she couldn't make it. Something came up last minute. So, my dear friend, brother in arms, musical cohort, and best buddy Decodes decided to step into the fray, or in the firing line, it would seem. I reckon we'll try and reconnect with Nabihah soon, as soon as she's able. Today Decode's going to join me. So we met at one of my warehouse raves, like many years ago. Ended up making a bunch of music together, playing a load of gigs, and ended up presenting on Radio 1 together, which was kind of sweet. Hi, Siona. Hi, Joshi. Dilvi, it must be Dilvi. Hi, nice to see you all. Aria, how's it going? We ended up doing a whole load of stuff together. And so, hopefully, he won't leave me stranded. Let me just message him. Say, I am live now, bastard. I am live now, bastard. There you go. Hi, Anushka, how's it going? We're going to be catching up, which is a bit bizarre because D and I kind of speak to each other quite a bit. Easy, Azuru, how's it going? So this is going to be quite fun to sort of see what will come about this chat. A is here. There we go. Let me just find him and add him. From the last time we actually spoke to each other in a professional setting. Easy, bruv.
What's happening?
Are you wearing your helmet?
I am. Symbolic of the situation I've just signed up for. Fuck
nice.
Me.
Thanks for stepping in, bro.
Coffee for this, bruv. Jesus, man.
Hey?
I've drank way too much coffee today for this. Too much, bro.
Well, thanks for stepping in, man. You're like my ultimate backup, basically.
I know.
And I actually thought, you know what? If Nabihah couldn't make today, I would just go out and have a couple of drinks. And then I thought, you know what? There's something about keeping a regular Wednesday at 6 p.m. that gives me a sense of discipline. You know what I mean?
The show must go on, bro. Of course.
You know what I mean? And Izuru's really funny in the comments. Izuru's saying, Nabihah looks quite different. Yeah, man.
Hey. Haven't shaved for a couple of weeks. This is what happened.
You're looking good, though, bruv. You're looking good, man. Got to say.
I'll take this off now. That was my...
That was your intro. Dude,
what's going on?
The last time we did anything together was that sort of stream we did for Box Out FM before we played Royal Festival Hall.
I had an equally ridiculous headpiece on. Do you remember?
Yeah, you had a do-rag on.
I've got a thing about stupid headpieces that I need to wear when I'm doing anything live with you.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
Subconsciously, I just click into fucking Nerm and decode mode, and here we are.
Yeah, well, there you go. And also, there was that show we did with Bobby where I think did you wear a woolly hat as well or something? I don't know what it is.
At the Asian Network. No, I didn't wear any underpants.
Oh, is that what it was? Fine. So cool, man. I mean, this is going to be going swing low, sweet chariots and all that.
You hear me and see me okay? I'm just...
Yeah.
It's actually the first ever Instagram live thing I've ever done. So
really? That's mad. You've been doing radio way longer than me recently.
But on Instagram, I haven't done it.
But you haven't done any broadcast shit on Instagram Live.
No.
Well, welcome to the show.
Welcome. This is
actually one thing I was going to say. Is this mic working? This one here. Can you hear that tapping when I press that?
Okay. Pretty fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But does this mic actually work? Is that louder, or is it the phone mic that's picking it up?
I look fucking amazing, but you are very pixelated. But
really?
That's just the stream. But anyway, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
So listen, bruv. So
yes.
I know we've done a bunch of radio together, a bunch of music, but I want to know about your life before we met, because I've written your biography a million fucking times. You're an Essex raver, fucking learnt music at the Mandir or like at the Gurdwara and shit. And I'm just thinking, like, what was your first fucking musical injection?
Jesus Christ. You should have given me some warnings.
No, man. No one gets any fucking warning.
Right up. It all started when me and my brother it was between the ages of 9 and 11.
Right.
That was the first time my mum marched us to the temple, the Gurdwara, to learn Indian instruments.
I know all about all this shit. I know about. I've written your fucking bio. I know about the Gurdwara things.
So
Your first rave, the first fucking moment when you were like, right, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do.
The first time I raved.
Yeah, the shit that I don't know about, dickhead.
The thing. What don't you know about?
Exactly. That's what I'm asking.
You know
Easy ravey Dave, easy jam. She's in the house.
You know more about me than probably I do. Shit that I've forgotten. You know?
This is true.
What happened during parts of my life that I've obviously just deleted or forgotten about. But anyway, the first time I raved, so it was so my first ever rave was actually a concert. It was the Prodigy Experience at the Island in Ilford.
No way.
I'm hoping Nick Hawkes has joined the conversation because he was most probably there. Of course he was there. And it was after I bought the Prodigy Experience album, which I remember I spent a good year and a half. Okay, I'm going to backtrack a couple of more years, because the second I discovered electronic music, jungle music, essentially, I had to save up for a stereo system to buy my CDs, right? And at the time I was doing paper rounds, so I spent I must have been about a good, wild guess, 8-9 months maybe, making £14 a week, doing paper rounds in the morning, lugging a huge bag of local newspapers around my area, saving up enough money to buy my first JVC system. When I finally had enough money, I bought the system, and the first two albums I bought were Drum and Bass Selection 1, which you clearly know about. I bought The Experience. I knew about Drum and Bass Selection 1 because I heard it at a friend's house. Do you know what? Or is it the other way around? I can't remember now. But anyway, it was when I heard the Prodigy Experience, I thought, holy fucking shit, what is? Because as we both know, it was in a league, in a fucking galaxy of its own. Do you know what I mean? And what a beautiful place Liam had created, especially for that time, because it was that point where music was evolving, beyond, pure organic analog sounds and into this hybrid realm of sample-based music. And Liam was at the forefront of that. He was the mastermind. He was the architect of that particular sound, or the birth of that sound, or one of at the very least.
It was rave going mainstream, basically, but also in its own way, right? Because it wasn't just like...
Even I'm talking from like I suppose a sound geek point of view. It's the first time you heard sound being manipulated in that way, or records being mashed up in that way. Do you know what I mean? It's physically impossible for someone to make that as a band.
Yeah, man. So you went. So I mean, you saw them in Essex?
I saw them in Essex.
Man, their hometown.
Kind of, yeah. They're from Braintree, aren't they?
Yeah.
Too far down the road. It's like, I don't know, 5 stops on the national rail. But anyway, yeah, it's all east based. So yeah, they played at the Island in Ilford, which was like East London's mecca for all raves. Going at that time.
But Ilford is in Ilford. So what's that venue now?
The slightly dodgy Ilford that everyone probably knows it as now. That Ilford, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so whereabouts in Ilford was that venue?
Okay. Well, it sits right in between Ilford Town Centre and Seven Kings. You've been to Seven Kings, Gurdwara, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. There's a couple on the Seven.
Yeah.
High road. It's the the really beautiful Gurdwara, which is nearer the Ilford Town Centre. I don't know if that rings a bell.
The massive one.
The architecture is very reminiscent of the kind of Gurdwaras you see in the Punjab.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not just standard buildings turned into Gurdwaras.
Yeah. Like
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful buildings. Anyway, that end of Ilford, that end of Seven Kings. It's now, I think, Braba Banqueting Suite, where their homes all did before COVID. But for a fair few years, it was the Island. And every rave that was going on during the 90s had its place at and as well as that, the Rex down in Stratford, like they were the 2 spots, And
Labyrinth in Hackney, near Hackney.
Yes.
On Dalston Lane.
But I was about to say, the second you started going a bit more inner London, then it became Labyrinth, and then it became back. Bagley's was like, that was the Mecca, actually, should I say. The island was, I suppose a bit more of a regional,
Yeah.
hot spot.
The regional Don, the regional Don hotspot.
Exactly.
A bit like Faces for people from Only Way is Essex.
Basically, yeah, that's it. It was a fantastic venue, man. It really was. It was a lot like the Brixton Academy. Near enough, yeah. The set out, the layout, and the acoustics were near enough exactly like the Brixton Academy.
Shit, so that was your first gig for like the Prodigy experience, the first Prodigy album. That tour was your first experience. That's nuts.
Yeah, straight into a rave and just immersing myself in the culture. And I'm glad it was a concert, not just like a standard rave. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like the entry level higher, right? I'm
sure there's video of that on YouTube.
Probably.
I know you've mentioned it. There's like some video from, I think you're right. I'm gonna, I'll message Nick as well. So Nick Hawkes, who discovered the Prodigy, co-founded the record label XL. Did he Yeah, he co-founded XL with Richie Russell. Yeah. And he currently manages Liam, so he'll definitely have it. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, they did a couple of gigs there actually, but the gig that I went to, they were playing at the Prodigy Experience, and they were road testing a load of stuff from Guilty Generation, which was amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like I remember hearing early demos or early loop concepts of, I can't remember which ones now, but there's a distinct difference between the two sounds of the Experience and Jilted, right?
Yeah. I mean, Jilted was mainly more rock and roll, essentially. That sort of went in with a punk vibe.
Or more industrial, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, industrial stroke rock and roll, but, very, very heavy, very industrial, kind of anchored by
There's a lot of Killing Joke influences in that album as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But and then the whole criminal justice bill and all that that's nuts, man. I can't believe you were there. Do you know that's fucking fuck you, right? That's two Prodigy stories, right? Where you've beaten me, you bastard. That's it. The second one was Radio 1's Big Weekend. So D and I were both on Radio 1, and we got to play, was it Kent?
Yeah, it was in Kent.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't in Kent. It wasn't in Kent. It wasn't in Kent.
It was.
It wasn't. It wasn't in Kent.
One of them was in Kent. One of them.
Yeah, but we weren't playing that one, bruv.
Oh, which one were we playing?
The one we were DJing at is what I want about. So I want to say Swindon.
Do you know what? I can't remember. I genuinely can't.
So we played that, and it was us. It was like Eric Pride, us, and then Annie Mac or something ridiculous. It was like some mad lineup with us just somehow in the fucking lineup. Big up Reese from Radio 1 for that, actually. That was sick. Yeah. But and then I had to drive back to London to host something for the Asian Network on Brick Lane. And you fucker, you stayed there and got to fucking hang out with the Prodigy. And I'm like,
yes.
What the fuck? I was
fucking helmet. I was going for it, bro.
You bastard. I was just like, what?
Do you know what? That reminds me of the same exuberance of pain that I felt from you that time I played the New Year's Eve gig in Goa. And you got carted off. What did you get carted off to again?
I had to do a New Year's Eve show in Chennai.
They were the only two times I've seen you cry the way you did. I was on your face.
utter bastard. So yeah, so that basically there's now turning into places where you've just cussed me. So that New Year's Eve gig in Goa was like in 2004, and D ends up playing on a beach in Goa when there wasn't that many raves, and like I think Shacks generally shut down about 11ish then in those days, and there was only one club that was open till late. What was that club where we played?
It was Zanzibar.
No, that Zanzibar was the name of the shack. We played this massive club behind it.
Oh God! Was it? I think it's something ridiculous like Cabana or.
Oh, I don't know. But anyway, like so this guy's fast forward, right? And this guy's bringing in New Year's Eve to like hard drum and bass, and hey, bastard! And I'm there trying to fight for my life at some hotel in fucking Chennai, playing like just desperately playing for people that just like, hey, play some Britney or some shit. I'm like, fuck, bro.
And I know personally you would have taken that or did take that while you're queuing up Britney. You're just thinking of me playing freaking Ed Rush and Optical on Bargain,
man. That's just not fair, man. So Prodigy, I didn't realize that was your first ever rave, man. That's fucking nuts.
That was my first ever rave. Yeah, man.
When did you start producing? What was it that switched you into fucking getting your studio together and making music then? Because obviously everyone fought and bought decks and like got records together and all that shit. So it obviously did that.
So when was it? When was that production switch?
Do you know what? The production kit thing came a lot later, man. It really did. Like I've always been a DJ first, producer second, and the whole production thing came becoming very aware quite late that if you made tunes, you'd get more recognition, you build more cred, and you could kind of like penetrate.
Really? How did that work out for you?
Break into. Well, but that actually came quite later. I mean, like, I started buying records religiously, while I was at school. So from like 16, 17, 18 onwards, spending any pound I had towards records. But equally, I'm a brown kid from Essex. My mum's a teacher. I was a good student. So like, a lot of my time was spent doing my work.
Proper good boy business
as well, So point being is, it wasn't. I could only allocate so much time to the music thing. Do you know what I mean? While still finishing my education.
I mean, you say brown boy from Essex, like that precludes you getting up to nefarious things and getting into trouble, which is complete bollocks.
You know what I mean? No, it's in like a good brown boy from Essex type thing.
You mean in front of your parents?
In front of my parents, exactly. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. So
Warp Spaces in the comments saying, "Damn, I was a hooligan." I think D was a bit of a hooligan too, to be fair.
Kind of. It depends in what context you put it in, really.
Well, let's not get you into too much retroactive trouble, eh?
Yeah, I can't walk out of it too damaged. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But the production thing started the second I finished uni. That was it.
Once I finished late.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, before that, I was dabbling on my Amiga. I had really shit MIDI sound card and just getting a flavor for it. But I mean, while I was at school, I was doing a lot of radio.
Yeah.
My love for radio. Do you know what I mean? I was doing a lot of pirate religiously every weekend because that was the thing. I grew up on listening to Call FM every weekend. From Sunday. I was the guy recording all of the sets on my TDK D90s and keeping them
was Birmingham's one Rude FM, or did London have Rude as well?
Oh yeah. Rude was all London based. Did you guys have Rude as well?
Well, I'm sure we had Rude FM in Birmingham. I'm pretty certain. Because I remember I'm exactly the same. It's probably why our paths collided so much. Is that recording all the fucking pirate jungle sets was the way forward. I've got to say, man, you know what? There's been 2 comments so far about your feet, which we'll get to for sure. D's got massive feet.
Get out, really? Causing eclipse.
That's just your fucking alu head as well, man. But yeah,
this is, mate. Deal with this. This is fucking, But yeah. So what was you saying? Yeah,
the production kicked in after uni.
Yeah, I was a Radiohead for time, and I still am, as you barely know. I've always had a love for it. I've always loved that sense of connection, through music via the airwaves. It was, mate, but back in the day when it was purely analog, there was a magic to it, and the culture behind pirate radio was just fascinating. Knowing that got these proper kind of like street boys and street teams spending their weekends climbing fucking high-rise estates to get aerial set up to transmit underground music purely for fine. They charged subs to make a bit of money, but ultimately it was predicated on pure love and this hunger to grow the culture. Do you know what I mean? And I loved that. I loved it. It was such a close-knit, slightly kind of esoteric circle. It made it kind of even more tempting to want to kind of get in. Do you know what I mean? By any means,
That's because like you didn't know what the hell was going on, except for on those radio shows and in magazines. There was no internet, right? So you just had to fucking hunt.
It's all down to what was going on in the head. You just
and the record shops as well.
It ate you up,
Yeah, that's the thing. Actually, no, I was thinking about this. It's like if you were to like make a tune and print some records, just like how NDC started, just run some tunes, sell them. You could actually, make some money. Now you're kind of fucked.
Exactly.
You make a tune, you put it on the internet, and it's essentially free. So you spent all that time making shit and earning zero from it. So you're kind of fucked.
Exactly. And even like from, like, I suppose, a business model point of view, there was a bigger incentive back then. While running the risk of sounding a bit old, and like back in the day, it was so much better in terms of like making money from music. But that whole side of things was a really big incentive to get involved as well. Do you know what I mean? Do the radio thing, get in the studio, make some tunes, press up some actual vinyls, you know, a physical manifestation of your art, and sell it to people, and get that dopamine hit, you know,
Which is a way bigger dopamine hit than you get from a like on a fucking on
exactly.
a site. By the way, Vinny's just corrected me saying Birmingham had Cool FM.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because Eastman, the guy who still runs Cool, he was the Don. Do you know what I mean? He was running the show from top to bottom. And you had Fuji. Yeah, we'll digress a bit, but you had Fuji running Rude FM, which split into Rude and Rude Awakening. You had 88.2, and then was it 101.7 or 104.7? And then you had Cool. Jesus Christ, I've forgotten the frequency. what's the frequency?
I'm shocked you can remember. I can barely remember Radio 1's fucking frequency, let alone fucking like Cool's frequency.
What was Cool?
Actually, I want to say 107.9.
Oh, what was Cool? Can someone remind us what was Cool's frequency?
Wasn't it 107.9?
No, it was 90. Shit! It will come to me. Anyway, point being is...
What, Cool's frequency in London?
Yeah, I remember when Cool was so big, you could feel the fever in London. Like
94.5, 94.6.
94.5, fucking 5. The magic black numbers, of course. And I remember, man, so vividly, like Thursday, you could feel the vibe in the air. It was a fever. It was fever. Like the second Thursday evening, if you were lucky, if they got the areas up, if it was a good end and DTI weren't on their backs, DTI being the section of the police that were dedicated to
Department of Trade and DTI, Department of Trade and Industry.
Right.
Department of Trade and Industry, yeah.
Yeah, they were dedicated to taking down pirate radio, basically. But when I think back to it, I think there was a slight understanding there. It was a bit of a kind of, we'll maybe let a couple of weekends slide, because there were some really good patches. And it was clear, and clearly everyone would have known about it. I don't know. The thing is, second, either Thursday, definitely Friday evening came around, you just felt the fever in the air, you know? And it got to a point in London where it was just like, oh, you taste it. And I remember that it was 96, 97 when they started expanding out. And I think that must have been around about the time they hit Birmingham, right? Because Birmingham was the next hotspot, because there were so many MCs. You had Bassman down in Birmingham, or up in Birmingham.
Majika, obviously, as well.
Yeah, but yeah, you go, exactly. Representing, do you know what I mean? From day. So yeah, it just made sense to expand up there. Yeah, man, it was a beautiful time.
It's so crazy thinking back to all that and the change that's like sort of come about. I think that's the thing, democratizing music and the sort of whole like access points have come down, but like making a living from it, particularly now, I mean, like this whole campaign that's gone about, like, actually, what is the hashtag about venue closures during COVID, all that kind of stuff. God. I think Nick just put it up. Which is fun, because, like, you know, before it was like, right, you can't make music, you can't make money from making music, so you can make money from playing shows, and now you can't play any fucking shows.
No, you can't play any shows.
Which is nuts.
Do we go there?
Let us dance.
Do we?
Oh, it's relevant, isn't it? Let the music play, let us dance, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like,
it's a silent suffocation, and we can clearly see it. Do you know what I mean? The nightlife industry clearly doesn't work in the best interests of the people in power, and they're slowly killing it off for better, more
controllable aspects. But you know what? There's
and that's the conspiracy, let's say. But it's fucking like, you don't have to be a scientist to figure it out. Do you know what I mean?
But you know what? There's a fascinating thing where, you know, like you said, everyone's like, there's loads of posts talking about this and about how you just pointed out. Is that it was a struggle to make this culture a fucking reality for the love of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was a struggle from the start. I remember fucking doing whatever I could to get my hand on records, let alone fucking dying to play the first rave, let alone dying to put on your first fucking rave, let alone, you know, all of these things were hard fought victories. Do you know what I mean? With very, very little financial fucking comeback at all. Yeah. So the thing is that the point of saying all this is that around the time of the Criminal Justice Act, when raves were shut down, illegal raves were shut down, super clubs evolved. Do you know what I mean? So without the Criminal Justice Act shutting down raves, you wouldn't have the established clubs. So essentially they normalized it and turned it into a paying exercise. So things like Ministry of Sound, Fabric, etc., all those bigger clubs wouldn't have existed without raves being shut down.
Yeah, no, I get that. What, are you saying that we could be doing a 360 here, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Totally. It's ebbs and flows is my point. So every time there's any sort of repressive policy, culture and music tends to turn around and say fuck you and does their own thing.
Sure, but I mean, like, that was going from like an illegal situation to a, okay, maybe not illegal, but let's just say a slightly dodgy situation to a bit more of a formalized and structured situation.
And what's going to happen when the formalized structures fall apart is that illegality comes back in.
Okay, so then because of that problem, there's going to be reaction, and hopefully there'll be a bit more of a substantial solution.
Well, I don't know about that. I just reckon illegal raves will obviously make a comeback. In the whole idea, and they'll be dangerous. They'll be fucking. They won't have any COVID precautions. They'll be fucked up, like we've seen. Do you know what I mean? And eventually, they'll switch back to having to actually, you know, legitimize them again. It's cyclic, I reckon.
True. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. 1 second here. Hold on.
I think he's gone to wash his feet. I think his feet must have been stinky. All this sort of serious chat got his foot sweat on. Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I hope so, no. I hope so. Who fucking knows what's going to happen? Do you know what? Like, this whole situation's full of curveballs, you know. The second you think there's a little bit of hope, you know, a right hook comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, actually, you know, that night we did at Village Underground, the night that I did with Reggie and Anita playing a few weeks, like 2 months ago, in fact, now. That was like just to help a venue that's nowhere near going to get that revenue back, you know?
No, exactly. And they were one of the lucky ones. They got a bit of the grant, didn't they?
I'm not sure. Did they?
They were on the list. Well, the first round. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure they pay up.
Ah, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But, and that's the thing. I haven't heard anything from Fabric at all, which I'm a bit concerned about. I'm like, what the fuck? I haven't heard anything.
Fuck knows, man. Who knows what's going to go on? But all I'm trying my utmost hardest just to stay optimistic, not unrealistic, of course, because I'm not trying to kind of disillusion myself, but
or set yourself up for a fall.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to tread that real fine line of staying optimistic but realistic at the same time, and not trying to echo too much of the painful negative noise.
Yeah. That's a good option. Yeah.
I'm just kind of sucking it up and trying to navigate.
Did you get to speak to Andy about getting to that next rave he's doing? Andy C.
No. Oh, in Amsterdam, I didn't.
Was that no? There's one regional one, We Are Festival, that he's doing, which is a socially distant rave.
Happened a couple of weeks ago.
Has it happened already?
It happened already. Yeah. Chase and Status played, and Andy played as well. It was super locked down, man. Like, it was literally like pens in a cage.
Okay.
You know, it didn't look pretty, put it that way. But I think, do you know what? If it all does go tits up, right, and the UK just becomes like a complete lockdown for all things nightlife, it's like Pav said in his post yesterday.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
There's nothing stopping the community just carrying on, you know, their work and the good vibes elsewhere. Unless the entire world just blackens from a creative point of view. You know,
I think if the government's not going to really support like the clubbing industry or the nightlife industry, which is you know, I think that I think you're right. It's not really difficult to see that those nightclubs have been under target for a while because of their locations, because of the space they take up, and because of the potential revenue they could generate.
Slowly bumping up rates as well. I mean, have you noticed how expensive drinks are in clubs these days? You know,
well, they kind of have to. I mean, that's not the government. That's not the government's response, bro.
Like a slow incremental. You know,
I think that's a separate thing because you've got to make money somehow, innit, to stay afloat.
Yeah,
I don't think the government's deciding what the price of drinks should be. Yeah,
generally speaking, this reinforces, you know, the will of the government.
You know what? Speaking about Andy, right? One thing is right that I don't know is how the fuck do you know all the Ram Records guys? So like you just literally Rago bought Sparfunk to one of our nights at Herbal, and he played. It was like, what the fuck? Someone from Moving Fusions playing our club like a shitty little Shiver sound system. Like we've got someone from Ram playing. What?
Yeah. That was a beautiful moment, wasn't it?
That was wicked.
So yeah, with the Ram boys, like I am a massive Ram Records fanboy. I think it's very, very
clear. Shit.
Yeah. It's because it's the regional association. I mean, like, you know,
Essex Crew.
Yeah, and just, you know, growing up during the time when Ram were still are at the cutting edge of what they're doing, but just being in such close proximity to it all just felt just felt amazing, man. Do you know what I mean? Just felt as if you were part of it. It's like it's the same feeling football fans get. Do you know what I mean? When they're supporting their football club, even though they don't know anyone there, just being a part of that.
Yeah.
It was the same thing, you know. So I've always been an avid follower of them and an avid follower of their music. And the way that I came into contact with them was through good old Channy.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. The connector, the underground connector, and that was when I was coming to the. So me and Channy are kind of like we're basically related. We're like second or third cousins. We're second cousins. Yeah, I think we're second cousins.
That explains a lot of the similar madness, that golden thread of madness. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And he was the guy I knew who was doing the music thing, and we started speaking near the time I was finishing uni, so around about 2003. And he's been in it since day one. He's been like, he's the true raving soldier. Like, he's been doing it since like the late 80s, like fucking on the edge. But equally been studying music production, which was quite a foreign concept amongst his generation of British. You know what I mean? Especially his generation. But clearly he didn't give a shit. He just carried on, you know, doing his thing, and as a result ended up with some really cool situations. And the one that I'm talking about was becoming Master Steps' studio engineer. And for those of you who don't know, Master Steps is a really big figure in the garage world, which played an equally big part in my life, along with Jungle. You know, during the 90s, that was the thing. It was Jungle and UK garage. And at the time when garage was absolutely smashing it, you know, the boys had big studios. You know, nice. The top boys, Master Steps, Spoonie, all them boys that had big studios.
And they had they had the samplers that had like 8 seconds of sampling instead of 5.
A bit bigger.
Yeah.
The EMU 64, so without getting too technical, I've actually still got it here. It was the EMU 64 Ultra sampler. That was the sound of that era. Before that, it was the Akai samplers, which were like from the late 80s, like the mid-90s, and then the EMUs came in and really forged the sound. A lot of the Ram record sound is a result of the EMU 64 samplers and the Mackie desks. But anyway, that's getting really geeky.
Oh, is that why you got that massive Mackie desk you did fuck all with for years?
What do you mean, man? I made one myself in that desk, bro. That's why.
That's true. That is true. But yeah. No. But in the end, it just became a 2-channel monitoring fucking station.
That was when everything started going internal. So I was like, I've got to up the sound, even though I was like, I'm really missing my faders. I want to use faders, but as you know, there was.
Hey, P Singh's here from India. Do you remember that shoot that P Singh did with us back in those days?
Who?
Bratna Singh from India, the photographer. Oh, yeah. That shoot we did on the high-rise things in Bombay. Anyway, I don't.
Of course, yeah.
Hello, Pete.
What was that reference about?
She's just said she's in the comments saying hello.
Oh, she's in the comments. Oh, hello. How you doing?
You're such an uncle. You're like in the comments. Hello.
Yes.
So that whole sound.
Got in contact with Channy. I was like, man, like coming out of uni, I really want to do this music thing. You know, I'm really hungry to learn. Are you still doing it? It was like, bro, fucking come down to Whitechapel. Here's the address. I'm an engineer at Jamestown Studios, which was like the hotspot. Yeah. It was the complex in this fucked up, derelict building around the back streets of Whitechapel. Like it looked horrible from the outside, but the second you stepped inside, it was this beautiful 4-story complex where everyone was based. I mean, everyone. Trifecta Power, Master Steps. You had a load of Breaks guys as well, because Breaks was, you know, kind of doing its thing back. Was it Botchet and Scarpa? I can't remember. Anyway, Moving Fusion were there as well. So Moving Fusion.
That explains it, right? Yeah, so it was Jamestown was the connection.
They were adjacent to Steps, right? So I started hanging out at the studio every day. I was like, cool, Chad, I'm there. I fucking literally moved in, man. Yeah. Literally, it was crazy. And just kind of fully immersed myself in that whole life, and just just through being there. It was only about a couple of months after that I heard some drum and bass coming from the next room, because I was only there when Channy was there, and Channy used to engineer a lot at night or quite odd hours, and Jeff and Spa used to have quite set days. Or, you know, they used to operate a lot of the time during like work hours, even though they did stupid late night sessions. But at that time, they were making their album, the start of something.
You mean Molten Beats?
No, the Molten Beats was the Ram trilogy, kind of like various artists compilation.
Okay, yeah. Because it all seems like it all fucking warps in together.
Yeah, man. Or just putting out an abundance of just cutting edge awesomeness.
Dude, did they do Hush Hush?
Of course they did.
I thought it was them. It was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, the one that I've nicked your copy of.
Yeah, you bastard. You stole my... Actually, no, you got my Warhead, you bastard. Still to this day.
Have I still got it? I'm pretty sure I gave it back to you.
No, I got it back. I'm sure you got some of my vinyl, though. But, so that's how you link...
Got 2 pieces. But anyway, yeah, go on.
That's how you link them, basically.
So that's how I linked him. Yeah, I heard some drum and bass playing from the room next door. I think it was a Friday night. And I was like, dude, who's next door? I remember at this point, I hadn't asked who was next door. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's Jeff. And I was like, Jeff? As in Jeff Langdon? He was like, yeah. And Spa, I was like, are you fucking shitting me, bruv? Like, Moving Fusion are next door. He was like, yeah, no big deal. I was like, it's a very big deal. Very big deal. Can we go next door? And he was like, yeah, I think they're busy, man. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Can we just go next door? Managed to get in.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a wicked moment. It was a Friday night. Everyone was a bit wavy. Do you know what I mean? Like, proper, including us. Yeah, and the rest is history, really. Spa's lovely.
It's
lovely.
fucking... You know what? There's a little known story.
I heard... No, he's not, man. Love you, bro. Like, he's one of the biggest hearts I've ever met in my life.
Know, Spa's tune opened up Electro East for 4 years.
Oh, what, Snake Charmer?
No, man, that's yours and his tune, his solo tune, some random tune that he did.
Oh no, Snake Charmer's him and Shimon. I don't know which one you're talking about.
No, wait, okay, Snake Charmer. Okay, fine. Snake Charmer, you're right. Was on Ram, right? Was him
in the breakdown?
Sure, it was him and Shimon. It was Spa Funk featuring someone else. It wasn't Shim.
Snake. If it's Snake Charmer, it's Spa Funk and Shimon. It came out on Terror Funk. I remember. It came out after Apocalypse.
Yeah, because you and him did Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Wait there, hang on a second. You're totally right. It is Shimon and Spa Funk. I'm an idiot. Hang on a second. But no, the actual opener of Electro East for years, hang on, was, I'll tell you what it is. Shit, I can't tell you. Hang on. No, it isn't that.
You used to like your tempo changing tunes. I remember.
Yeah, but that was Snake Charmer. But hang on, there's one tune. I think. Hang on.
Rapture. Vinny just commented. Was it Rapture?
Rapture. Vinny's right. Rapture.
Nice one, Vinny. Well done, son.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Was it?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because you were really pushing the whole tempo changing.
No, it wasn't Rapture.
Wasn't it?
Maybe it was. I'm really. There was one that was like. I'll figure it out. Anyway, there's one track that opened up Electro East. The Rapture was changing, like had time signature switches and everything. So maybe he's right.
Yeah.
Maybe he's right.
One of his fantastic tunes. Spa, if you are logged in, or if you're listening, or if
you'll watch back later, this all gets archived.
Please start fucking making tunes again, bruv. Get some music out.
Do you know what I have got in my archives that you and Spa sent, or maybe I got via you, was this ABBA cover?
Ah, yeah.
He did a cover of an ABBA track of all things. It was like, what the fuck? Like Spa's doing an ABBA track?
Yeah, man. That's when Spa was experimenting with a live sound. I remember.
Speaking of experimenting, right? So Mandeep Dub in the comments has asked about our remix of Fulan Katarwa.
Oh, for Everywhere and Nowhere.
And how that came about. And bruv, if you're still logged in, right? If you're asking, he says like there's 2 different versions of it.
That was a complete mess, wasn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so basically, let me just hang on a second. Let me try and pull this up. If I can find it. Yeah, this is the one. It's so shit. It's so shit. I can't believe this, dude. It's fucking ridiculous.
And it got into a film.
We made it for the film, bro. It was like a bespoke. We didn't do this fucking like.
It got accepted.
It got accepted. Like, hang on a second.
It got accepted. Whoa. Mandy says, bro, I still bang.
Thank you,
Big
Mandy.
ups, Mandy. Don't listen to our noise, man. We're just talking like fucking anal.
Dude, we're allowed to hang out around work. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of part of the process, isn't it?
That bass line is so shit.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's so bad. Oh, God.
It's so shit.
What the fuck were we taking? Actually, I know exactly what we were taking.
I know it was a hard deadline. All right, okay. No. You know what? Okay, so I'll tell the story, right? So basically, there's a film called Everywhere and Nowhere, and it was directed by the guy that did Kidulthood, Manoj Huda, right? So in this story, I met him going to a film festival when I was looking after this this Muslim punk band called the Kaminas, and the Kaminas were doing, and Vinny was actually driving the Kaminas there. Fucking mad, yeah. So we were at this BAFTA tent at a festival. Hi, Jazz from Culture Shock, big up. So we were driving to the BAFTA tent at this festival. And the first day they were showing the Kaminas film, which was a documentary about Muslim punks called Takwakul. And then there was a panel, a screening and a gig, right? And the second day was a panel with Chris Morris and Riz. Then there was the screening of Four Lions and then a gig, so Riz's gig. Much better day than the first day. The first day was like Brown Punk. Second day was like Riz. It was like, okay, I'd rather be at that one. Anyway, so we're driving down and Huds was on the same panel for the punk thing that I was on. And he was like, yeah, my next film was about a DJ who's this brown kid whose family disapproves and rare. I was like, what? What? No, my story, you fucker. What are you talking about? You fuck. No. Who's doing the music, you prick? And I just gunned him for ages, and we became friends and stuff. And he just like
just insulted him, battered him with insults until he gave in.
I was like, what? No. So then, and you know, the film, you know, was whatever. There's, you know, had to be a bit more sort of cliched for the mainstream. Didn't do particularly well. But the soundtrack is very, very excellent because I did the soundtrack, and part of it was remixing. Like the protagonist of the film has to remix different tracks, and one of them was that.
To be fair, the track actually worked in the film. It worked as a pink music because it worked in context with the visual pretty damn well. Do you know what?
I've got that. I'm gonna pull up that scene actually, and then we got Sook Knight and we got Prush engineers to remix stuff as well. And then in the club scenes, I physically mixed all the tracks in the club scenes, and we basically got all of our mates on the film, man. Like everyone's in the film, and all the music we love. Like we had like all the like DJ Zinks on it. Well, not physically, but all the musically, like Zinks in it, John B, just everyone. I wonder if I've got that visual actually.
Ministry.
You what? No, it was shot in fire.
Fire. That's it. Yeah, fire.
Hang on a second. Where are these scenes? Oh, mate, this is quite mad actually. If I can find this scene, that's quite cool. Here we go. Here we go. Remixing. Here we go. Ah, I've got it. I got it. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna fucking show you.
You play? Or you're gonna
I'm gonna just show the fucking screen. Hang on a second.
Oh my god.
If my VLC doesn't crash because it's such a shitty old file. Hang on. Let me just see if this loads up. Come on, bastard. Man, VLC's been acting funny. There we go. Basically, I got given a drive full of Prince videos last week, and I've just been hammering my VLC watching all these bootleg Prince things.
Jesus, someone handed you a drive of Prince videos. I thought you would have had
two terabytes of it, man.
Yeah, oh, really?
It's fucking serious, bro. It's serious. I was trying to find this scene from the movie. Hang on a second. Is it going to load? No, it's a .mov. Come on. Shut up. Shut up, computer, bastard. Hang on, force quit. I might have to open it in QuickTime, which is annoying.
I remember the scene.
Hang on. It's here. I got it. I got it. Let me full screen this basket. Come on. View. I've got to hide all these dodgy windows, bruv. Hang on a second. Enter full screen. There you go. Dodgy windows have been done. Right, hang on a second. Right, this is the scene. How do I flip this bastard? Wait, there you go. Come on. Come on. There you go. So this is the scene. This is the scene where the protagonist, this guy here, who is amazing. In fact, this is some amazing actors. Ali and James Floyd. But yeah, so this is it.
Yeah, big up James.
So bad. That is, he's remixing it in his head when he puts the headphones in.
Oh. In context.
And there's Shivani Guy, who's in the new Batwoman feature. Yeah, man. Actually, you're right. In context, it's not too bad.
It's pretty cool. Like, what?
Yeah, true say.
Whatever you want.
Dude, I remember putting that together and all the warps and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are the other choices? A fucking smashing Eamon?
Yeah,
or like,
say. True. It's still cheesy as fuck.
I think it needed to have an element of cheese to work within the scene. It works. It works. But as a track that you select in a club, probably not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, big up Mandeep for bringing that up. Actually, that's quite sweet.
Nice one, man.
Yeah, man, some memories. Actually, we did another remix for that film, which is properly shit. So at the end of the film, I think the film got.
I said no to that. I was like, are you sure about this, bro?
We had to, man. We had to. It didn't make any fucking sense otherwise. So basically, somehow the film got the rights to play Robert Miles's children, right? Which is this big fucking... Hey?
What we did to it is just wrong.
So Children is a big fucking tune. I'll try to play the original, right? I mean, everyone knows this tune. It's like a piano fucking classic.
Aimless piece. It was given the Nerm and Decode treatment.
Dude, it came out in 96. Fuck. I mean, this is a classic tune.
Oh, God.
Classic fucking tune. And then, and this build-up goes for ages. I mean, so that would not work for a protagonist that's into drum and bass, right? No one's gonna fucking drop that. Like, if you're a drum and bass DJ, you're not gonna play that, right?
Jobs making tracks that run at that tempo, which is around about 130 beats per minute, making them work up at the tempo of drum and bass, which is around about 172 beats per minute, which is faster.
Is impossible. But so what we did the shittest remix, right? You could imagine for the end shot. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I think I've got that scene as well. You know.
Why are you doing this, bro?
Because this is funny. Because Mandeep raised this, right? And this is just fucking jokes. And
that Robert Miles remix needs to stay dead and buried.
No, man, fuck that. Yeah. Dude, if we're gonna cuss our own work, right? If we're gonna cuss our own work, we need to cuss it properly.
All right,
and humiliate ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I'll drink to that.
Hang on, wait.
Cheers.
Hang on. Even the computer saying no. Wait, hang on a second. It's just like, no, fuck off. There you go. Right, this is it. This is the scene. This is the scene. This is the scene. Right, this is the scene. So the protagonist at the end, right, he's like running away from. Look how angry he looks. He looks like D after he's been to a rave. Like, right, okay. There you go.
I did used to pull those faces.
You can just about hear it. Hang on a second. There you go. And that's his brother, who's a bit of a bastard to him, full of regret and remorse. Ali's a great actor, though. He's fucking amazing. I can't believe they got the rights to this track, and then they allowed us to fuck it up. That's the other thing.
I can't believe they cleared this bloody remix.
No, that's what I'm saying. Apparently, Robert Miles was like, "Here, take the track," and his label and the publishers were like, "Take the track," because Hudson like knew them.
Unbelievable.
And then I was just like, "Bruv, he will not play the original at the end of this film, right?" So the protagonist runs away, and then he's just like leaving his whole world behind. Ends up playing at a festival.
Is this it? Oh God, where's my crash helmet?
There we go.
Oh, it's Nick. I'm just at the right time. Hello, Nick. We're just cussing all of our really shit work from the past.
Yeah.
Please join.
Nick, we were just talking about us butchering Robert Miles's children for a film.
Awful.
Terrible. But yeah, that was, I mean, actually, as you get in context to the film, it's not so bad, but it is sacrilege.
No, the Robert Miles thing, there's no excuse for that whatsoever. At all. We can't say that one.
I mean, the fact that he got cleared is a miracle.
That I'm still kind of trying to figure out and come to terms with.
That's what I'm saying. Apparently, BMG or Deconstruction, the record label, were really happy with it. The director was happy with it.
Hold on. Can you imagine? Just imagine. Can you imagine whoever it was that was in the BMG offices and press play on that
and thought it was good? Dude, we submitted it and we had to do it for a movie, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, fuck. I can't believe we got away with it. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think.
Huh?
You know, there's like some friends of mine, right? Friends that are esteemed, friends of ours, in fact, that are really sort of prominent and popular. Just like, Dee's got nominated for a BAFTA for DJ Hero. You guys were on Radio 1. You've done all this cool shit. Why don't you make a big deal out of it? And I think the reason why is because we can bury shit like that.
Yeah.
Because
good stuff or the bad stuff comes. It's ratio. It's signal to noise.
Exactly.
Noise ratio.
Exactly. If you stay quiet about shit, no one will hear that until you're drunk with your mate on Instagram Live, and then you show everyone.
Exactly. So you know what? We beat to it. We'll happily cuss ourselves. Way before good stuff. We'll make noise about the shit stuff. No problem.
Exactly. But actually, that's the other thing, right? So about other sort of projects, right? So there's the movie stuff, which is that one thing. Then there's the other thing which you did, which was quite shocking, which was DJ Hero, right? So you were the lead fucking remixer. So there's a video game, right, called Guitar Hero back in those days when you had to get a fucking periphery and plug it into a console and do stuff.
Yeah.
And so they then created DJ Hero, which was like the DJ equivalent. In about 2010?
It was between 2008 and 2010. Yeah, we did DJ 1 and 2.
Right. So two DJ Hero games, right? And you were the fucking head remixer with a whole bank of DJs working out of a mad office in Brick Lane with a whole fucking test drive room and everything. And then the game got nominated for a fucking BAFTA. And years later, when again I'm writing one of Dee's fucking bios, I was like, wait, you got nominated for a BAFTA and you never told me, you dickhead. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, anyway, putting all that back, how did you get involved in DJ Hero? Because I know the rough outline of it, but, fill that in.
I got involved in DJ Hero. Honestly, it was through a really old local friend. It's actually a friend of my brother, Harminder's.
Right.
O'Fay. His name's O'Fay.
O'Fay. Oh, fuck, it was O'Fay.
O'Fay. Yeah, of course. You didn't know this?
No, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so O'Fay, by the way, did an amazing song on Left Field's last album.
Yeah.
And O'Fay was actually the vocalist on tour with Left Field like 3 years ago. But yeah, amazing vocalist.
O'Fay's been doing hardcore entrepreneurship way before it became a cool thing. Like this guy, do you know, he's been on the cusp and still is. But anyway,
big up Vivex and the house band. Viv's here, wicked.
Yeah, bruv, what you saying, my man?
Easy.
So O'Fay's mutual friend, a guy called Daniel Neal, is a computer whiz, coding whiz. And he literally woke up one morning and thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a DJ version for Guitar Hero? And the way it was sold to me was within like 2 days, he had decoded the back end of Guitar Hero and created a prototype for DJ Hero.
Wow.
And Ofei and Dan met just again. I think they met through Ofei's sister. They just had mutual professional friends, and they just cooked up. And
cooked up code, not anything cracky. Code is what you're talking about.
To
clarify,
they Ofei obviously blew Ofei's mind, and it got to the point where they took the game to a guy called Jamie Jackson, who is one of the founders of a very small but now very big games company called Freestyle in Leamington Spa. And for those of you who don't know, Leamington Spa is like the Silicon Valley for video games. Every major video games developer, their studio now is in Leamington Spa. Like, that's the hot spot. It always has been, but now it absolutely is. Do you know what I mean? And that's where they're based. And they loved the idea. And I remember Jamie telling me,
"Oh shit, Ubisoft."
They're now being bought by Ubisoft. Yeah,
first Ubisoft. Yeah, Activision bought them, and then that's nuts. Wow.
Yeah. They're huge now. And it was all off the back of DJ Hero. That was the acceleration. That was the accelerator. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, that. Because before that, they were doing some pretty cool stuff. Not to knock them at all, but that was the one that really kind of sent things skyrocketing. But anyway, yeah, they spent a good few months in Jamie's garage making prototypes of the peripheral out of plasticine.
What, the deck and mixer thing with the buttons on the turntable?
Yeah. And when they were convinced that this is going to be a thing, Dan and Ofei started setting up the business model around it in terms of getting a team together. Right. And that was the time when, we were doing our thing. Do you know what I mean?
We're on Radio 1 then, right?
No. Radio 1 happened exactly the same. Dude, do you remember that day? Okay, maybe you might not. We had a meeting at Broadcasting House.
Right.
And then I was like, dude, I've got to go and meet my friends quickly because they want to speak to me about something.
Okay.
And it was, obviously you won't remember. That same day, I met Dan and Ofei. We went for a drink. And they were like, listen. This is what
shit.
Yeah, that same fucking... Mad. It was mad. They were like, do you want to come on and make a video game? I was like, I hate video games. What do you mean? It's not that type of video game. If anything, it's good that you don't like video games because we'd love you to come on board and develop the music side of things. I was like, music for what? Video? You need to write music for a video game? They're like, no.
Shit.
Do you want to come and check it out? And I was like, and yeah, they took me to the offices. They created a concept, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. At the same time, Radio 1 happened literally within like that 72-hour window. I remember I fucking freaked out, dude. I was like, I was working as a personal trainer at that time, and obviously doing the whole studio thing, making tunes. We had just put out, I think it was have we put out Under the Moon or Apocalypse? But things were moving. Yeah. So it was around that time, I was working with Spa on his label. Obviously, like I said, we were doing our thing on Shiva, and I was working as a personal trainer at Fitness First. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was my life. And then all of a sudden, within like 3 days, it just went Radio 1, fucking DJ here. I was like, holy shit. Wow, I need to fucking sort my shit out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a nice pressure, bro.
It was great pressure, yeah.
Oh, big up Bailey. Bailey's in the chat.
Yes, B. How you doing? Yes,
but listen, we've got a minute and a half on the timer left.
All right.
I'm gonna go. Let's reconvene. I'm gonna go piss and then call you back.
Okay.
So go live in 2 minutes.
Okay. Do.
Yeah. 2 minutes. Do. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining so far. I'll reconnect in literally 2 minutes.
Don't go anywhere.
I mean, no. I mean, you can go somewhere and then come back. 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, bye.
Hello. So apparently part 1 was really pixelated. Hopefully this is cleaned up because I could see myself. And I believe I showed some footage of the film that Dee and I did the soundtrack for before, but apparently you couldn't see it, which is probably a good thing. And you couldn't hear it. Again, probably a good thing. So cool. Vinny says it's clear now. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't realize it was so pixelated before. But I just shut down everything and restarted while I was in the loo. Yay!
Adding Daminder, aka Decode. His real name is Daminder, which is hilarious, by the way. Yo!
No one saw it.
No one saw it. That's brilliant. That is perfect. That means that no one's seen the embarrassment.
Exactly. It was funny to relive that moment between us, for sure.
Did you see it though? Could you see it?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
You could see it.
That's right. Clear enough. Yeah, yeah.
And you could hear it and stuff as well.
Hear it. Yeah.
Maybe it's saved differently. Anyway, there you go. We're all clear. But
fun times. Fun times. All
of that good stuff. Hang on. Bosky Shirin saying hello. Buja Pillai, hi. Thank you, everybody. Carl saying Nerm was downloading some naughties earlier. Do you know what? I think there might be one of my computers doing something in the background. Definitely not downloading any naughties because I'm naughty enough, you know what I'm saying? It's like those lines, like, you know, those lines in films are like, do you want sugar with that? No, thanks. I'm sweet enough. Hi, Fuzzia. How's it going? Yeah. So where were we? We were talking about
DJ Hero.
Oh, wait, actually, just a quick pause. Talking about Everywhere and Nowhere, right? Do you know how much random shit has come out of that film? That's unbelievable. So,
what do you mean?
So check this out. Okay, so Elias, who's in that, has now become a huge actor because he was in Interstellar.
Oh right, yeah. Of course. I mean, all of the, you know, that's always the case. You know, real kind of like edgy, small indie films become the springboard for.
Enough actors. So, but here's the thing. So Hudds, who directed that, has directed episodes of Supergirl and is directing episodes of the new Batwoman TV series.
Oh, really?
And Shivani, who walked in at the end of that scene, is in Batwoman.
The series. Oh, sick.
Yeah. And then Amber, who's also in the film, was in the Punisher TV series, and she's become a megastar. It's like, it's mad.
Wow.
All these mates of yours.
With the, is it Good Karma Hospital?
Eh?
Good Karma. And James is on Good Karma Hospital. Which...
I don't think. Oh yeah, James is. I think also. Man, I can't believe I forgot his name. Wait, I need to find it. This is really bad.
Who? What?
Amber's boyfriend, who's also in the movie.
Yeah. Which one? I don't know. Who...
I can't believe I forgot his name. This is so shit because I'm going to put this online. I'm so sorry. Man, but he's also a massive actor too. But it's just nice that everyone's gone on to do cool shit.
Yeah. Exactly. It's how it works. It's how it works.
Yeah, man. So anyway, DJ Hero. You got onto that. You got onto DJ Hero. You became a fucking maker of computer games, which is mad.
So weird. I remember it was a really weird time in my head. That whole period was a really weird time because I was still completely obsessed with kind of making it as an artist and a DJ. Do you know what I mean? And at the same time, I'm kind of figuring out how to make computer games. And now we're doing broadcasting. I mean, broadcasting, that's part and parcel of the whole process.
Yeah, I mean, being on Radio 1 like once a month is not really that much of a commitment.
Exactly.
But it's also pretty fucking badass.
No, of course, mate. It's amazing. It was amazing, you know. One of the best times of my life, without a shadow of a doubt. But I remember I was living, even though, not to knock DJ Hero at all, it's one of the fucking highlights of my CV, to be completely frank. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't change it for the world. But I just remember internally, I was going through a very turbulent process of self-awareness, learning about what's going on inside my head. Do you know what I mean? Because I was I was juxtaposed between these two worlds in terms of knowing how much time it takes how much time my full-time job was now taking up. And yeah, I remember it became really exhausting at some points because it was a brand new thing to me. Like I said,
actually, bro, I remember trying to complete the fucking the Shiver Sound System album at the same time, and you were just
exactly
being pulled left, right, and center.
Yeah, it was hard work. I was pretty torn, but
I think there's something to be said for doing something as a job that's also your passion. So you were doing pro audio production,
exactly,
on a fucking hardcore turnout basis with
We
like
was
9 to 5 business.
We were knocking out 10 remixes a week.
Yeah.
And we're talking world-class remixes. No, not even 10. What am I talking about? Way more. That was like phase one of the team, because the remix team, sorry, the remix team originally started off with me, O'Fay, Jules, DJ Blakey, big up Blakey, was like the cut DJ of the game. He was there from day one. And who else was there?
Jack.
Jack came a little later. He came in phase two.
Right.
We moved to a bigger studio because we needed a bigger team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original 5-man team, yeah, we were knocking out like world class. It's not a case of they turned out to be world class. They had to be world class because we had to get.
Because the concept was you had 2 tracks and you had to mix them together in the game. But the audio that you play in the game was already created by these fuckers behind the scenes in the studio. So, also, yeah, I guess you had to make the remix and then MIDI map it so that it matched all the button presses you had to hit.
Exactly. So the remixes were all premeditated, pre-produced, pre-remixed. All of the cuts and the scratches and all of that stuff that you heard was already embedded in the audio. So on top of...
But you had to trigger it, right? Because if you didn't trigger it, it wouldn't come in, right?
Yeah. So if you didn't hit the triggers, the audio would cut out. On top of... So first off, we had to design and develop this remix formula, this remix format, which went through many iterations. There were some bottle versions. Because I remember the first guy, Faye and Dan, asked to try out the remixes weren't DJs, so they didn't really have that hands-on experience in terms of knowing what the physicalities behind DJing are. Do you know what I mean? So that sense of realism wasn't there. So anyway, we got to a point where the remixes sounded like they were being remixed by a DJ on 2 turntables. So once we had that format, we then had to literally create, conceptualize, and then create the game mechanic, which worked in conjunction with the audio, which get really technical. But
yeah, I mean, basically, it's the interaction between the human, the controller, and what the fuck you see in here.
Which was basically
so the dirty, how you get involved, basically.
Exactly, which
like a futuristic sex toy, but in music terms.
Yeah, virtual sex toy. Exactly.
There you go. It's a virtual musical sex toy
with that DJ peripheral, and the aim of the game was to be able to make the moves, the commands that are coming down the highway on the screen. You didn't make the moves and hit the nodes, the audio would drop out at those points. You know,
yeah, sure. So basically, you made a game out of DJing, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like we had to build the whole fucking thing, basically.
About making you feel as authentic as possible. Do you know what I mean? Which was like that was the trick. That was the magic. And we did it, and it blew up. It was mad. And at the same time, we were doing the Shiva album, and then there was Radio 1 as well. And the thing about, even though Radio 1 was a monthly, there was a lot of time that went into making those shows, as you clearly know, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, we created the guests, you know, we went really hard in making sure we were playing the freshest dubs. And by that, I mean, reaching out to people, getting the music in. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a case of a week's work. We were constantly on it.
Yeah, totally.
Each show was as fresh as possible, you know, and it didn't sound like fucking, you know, the next show. On the next station type thing, you know. So spinning all those plates at the same time, it got exhausting. However, the moral of the story is it ended up being the most important learning curve I've ever had in my life. Without that, I wouldn't be able to produce audio the way I do now. And it comes down to what you stated. I learned how to make audio to a deadline. And that was just so important.
Being creative on demand is one of the biggest head fucks ever. It fucks with you so hard, and you're like, shit, I need to be creative and match that mark continually. It fucks with you so hard. Yeah.
I did that for me. It taught me aggressively. I had to aggressively learn that process. I didn't have a choice. And my God, I am so thankful for that, because if it wasn't that, I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing now. Basically, I learned how to objectify the process, whereas people who work with audio predicate it on emotion and find it very hard to detach themselves from the emotional aspect of the emotion.
I think that's artists full stop, man.
It's exactly.
I think so, any artist in any medium, if you're a professional artist, like trying to turn that into a production line is really hard.
But however, what I was so thankful to learn was when I had to be the artist and then unplug from it, literally kind of push away, objectify and go, right, now I need to fucking finish, regardless of how I might feel about it as an artist. I've got a deadline to meet, it has to be done, the end.
Yeah.
That part that so many people struggle with. So many people struggle with that end part in terms of the detachment process.
But you know what? I think that's the part that at one hand, it's really lucky making when your hobbies become a career. It's a blessing. But there's a sacrifice that you lose the joy. Do you know what I mean? So there's some people where, like, you know, I'll give you an example, and I won't mention names, but there's mutual friends of ours that we know that are fucking gangster radio producers, but don't want to get involved in the hierarchy and the politics of going up any kind of, you know, that world's ladder. It becomes a different fucking beast, right?
I completely agree. And I think it just comes down to self-awareness, man. Like, especially when you're put in that position and you can see what's working with your endeavors and what isn't. And then you kind of ask yourself, okay, what do I want out of the effort that I'm putting in and my life in general? Do you know what I mean? I'm working with audio day and night. I want to try and make this a living. What's essentially allowing that to happen and what's not? Do you know what I mean? And then committing to either or. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not sure. Well, I mean, for me, we know, you know, offline we've had discussions about our differences and our approach to things. But one thing I would say is I had a fuckload of fun during the mix of it as well. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying like I traded in fun for income at all. Do you know what I mean? I think I just recalibrated myself in order to, I suppose, enjoy an aspect of both. You know, fine. You know, and to me, kind of, you get the best of both worlds. You know, and there's a lot of there's a sense of validation, especially when it comes to, like, you know, the creative process or even just this audio production process in general. When you're able to meet that finishing line like that, it really feels good. Because before I do that, my God, you know, there were moments of serious despair in the studio going, oh my God, this is fucking never going to finish. What's the point? Blah, blah, blah. As, you know, I'm sure we've all been.
Every creative's felt that. In fact, you know what? Every fucker in any job has felt that, no matter what job they're in. Everyone's felt that despair. Do you know what I mean? Like,
is so crucial. It's hard.
So tell me about this then, in terms of one of the perks, right? The BAFTA thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck, bruv? How come you didn't tell anyone? And I only found out about it like maybe
Do you know
5 years later when we were setting up your band. So just to clarify, all this lovely fucking milieu that D's talking about, Radio 1, DJ Hero, production with Shiver Sound System, his own shit with Ram, all this shit's popping off. And then he decides to form a band called Driving Lethal, which we'll go back to. But then years later, when we're coming up with, like, you know, press angles to get Driving Lethal out there, you know, there's the Radio 1 thing in the past. We want to look at something fresh. It's like, oh yeah, DJ Hero got nominated for a BAFTA. I was like,
I didn't even tell you a week later. I told you.
It's like 4 fucking years. What the fuck?
2 years later. It wasn't. No, I wasn't that bad. Come on, I didn't tell you that. Years later, it was after it kind of happened, after the hype. So I'll tell you why. All of that noise was happening post-release, and when I became the fucking global ambassador for the game. So, you know, I stopped making the game. And
wait. Hold on. Do you remember the launch party we threw?
Yes, exactly. It was mad, bro. Like, making it was, you know, one level of madness. But then when they were like, oh, so by the way, do you fancy, like, ambassadoring the game? I was like, you what, mate? What do you want me to do? They're like, well, you know, you seem like a really level-headed guy. We think you'd work really well. We think you'd work really well.
Sorry, like, level-headed guy and you just don't fucking match.
All of the major events around the world. Do you fancy taking that on? I went, yeah? Okay, let's do it. First gig was Ibiza. At Fuck Me, I'm Famous, David Guetta's night. I think this is the opening night, right? Was that the first night? No, there were a few national gigs around, a few games festivals, like was it Games Fest? And there was one up in Birmingham. But anyway, the first major one was Ibiza. Ibiza.
I remember that. Yes, I remember. We won't go into the extreme details of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mad. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm this global ambassador for the game, going to Ibiza, going to Greece. I was on Tiesta's European tour endorsing the game. Before Tiesta came on, there's me going, hey guys, check out DJ Hero. Waka waka waka. Play the level to Tiesta's entire crowd, and then he hops on, going, thanks guys, that was DJ Hero, and then kind of kicked off his freaking main stage.
But it was better than the shitty way you describe it.
Yeah, obviously they
You describe it like a fucking car show, like, oh, everybody, look at this guy.
Of course,
No,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, because they hide me otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, all of that was going on. I was just caught in this beautiful shitstorm, and then, oh yeah, we got nominated for a BAFTA. Oh, by the way, I've got to go and catch. It was one of those ones. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was just in the muck of it all. I was just like I was churning. I was just churning and churning and churning, and having a great time at the same time. Like real good time. It was very, very, hedonistic, as you know. I kind of forgot to tell you about the BAFTA. Sorry.
It was not. But that's the thing. Not only that, but I think it shows about, you can have disdain for your own catalogue, right? You can be self-deprecating and all that, because I think that, I like to think that we're fairly humble chaps and whatever the fuck. But, there are certain key moments where you're like, I should note this down. And maybe, just maybe, it might be useful in the future.
I maybe told him about that a bit earlier.
Yeah. Got nominated for a BAFTA. Wicked.
No, that was actually a fucking slapping myself, going, dickhead! Why the hell didn't I tell them about this earlier? Because you would have fucking shouted about it to Kingdom Come. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Too late now.
But yeah, and then DJ2 happened, and then it was around the time of the financial crash.
Yeah.
Around about 2008, but
as fucked everything. Yeah.
Every global situation, you only really feel the ripples kind of like, 12 to 18 months after. So come DJ2, which was around about 2010, everyone's purchasing power just went down, because basically DJ1, when it came out, was the highest grossing IP in North America of 2009.
It was expensive as well. You had to buy the fucking thing that went with your console, right?
I was spending it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, highest grossing IP in North America is a pretty big deal. Along with it, being nominated for a BAFTA. And that's why Activision went, great, let's do number 2. And they upped the marketing budget by like fucking 5,000%. It was ridiculous, man. Like, they spent so much money on the...
Didn't they get Eminem to launch it or something stupid?
Dude, the track list was bonkers. We had Gaga, 50 Cent, Eminem, Daft Punk were in 1 and 2. The Prodigy, they were in 2. Dude, the list is endless. It was basically, we had access to the entire of the Universal Music publishing, Universal Music catalog. All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Do what you want with it, kind of thing. But no one.
And you didn't jack any of the stems. You didn't think of like taking your hard drive in and just teething all of the arrangements.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No. Because D's a good boy who forgets who was nominated for a BAFTA.
I'm a big believer
No.
I'm a big believer in maybe a couple of snares here and there, but
okay, so there was some teething. Okay, good.
Not gonna hurt anyone. It's all right.
Dude, I didn't tell you about this. Do you know? Easy Darth Sids, how's it going? Now, who's Darth Sids?
Yes.
I just know. Is that Sid? It's Sid from Bombay. Easy. Okay, Wolfie. Yeah. All the Bombay crew jumping in. Wicked. India crew. Big up all the Indian fam. But yeah, dude, there was hang on, what's that? Is that where Epic picked with what? Did you meet Jermaine Jackson?
No, sorry, Vin, that was the Mobos. So I had to do the Mobos as well. And yeah, I shared a dressing room with Jackson and Nelly and Jay Sean. True.
That's quite funny, man. That's quite funny.
am I? Where am I? Where's my space? I'm like, just over there to the left. I was like, cool, all right. Fucking walk in. Jermaine's sitting there. I was like, huh? I was like, proper like, I walked into the wrong room here. I was like, number 2. Easy, man. How you doing? Type thing. He was just sipping a drink, fucking sat down and chilled out, and then fucking Nelly walks in. Oh, fucking what the fuck?
Did he go like? Did he have his plaster and shit?
Did he? No, he didn't have his plaster. No. He's really short though.
Yeah.
He's really short. He's like Prince height. Very small.
Nah, Prince is tiny. Well, Prince was tiny.
Okay, maybe not. He's a lot smaller than I thought he was. Put it that.
Hang on.
But
Nelly's. Hang on a second. Nelly is 1.75 meters. What's that in feet? Oh, he's 5'8". Dude, he's taller than me. I mean, I'm short relative to you.
Maybe he was stocky. I just remember him being a shape that I didn't think he was. I thought he was just a bit bigger and but he was quite small and stocky. He had a small neck and big shoulders. But anyway, I digress.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So DJ Hero 2, you had this whole budget and everything, and then obviously it flopped because no one could buy it.
Literally, man. At the same time, Dance Station came out, which was 40 quid. And the thing with DJ 2 is because the marketing budget had gone through the roof, equally they also, oh, it's all right, you know, we'll release it at Christmas. Going to be the perfect Christmas present. We can mark it up to 250 quid. All good. Not
250?
It was expensive. Yeah, like the full...
£250?
I'm pretty sure, like the deluxe version, which was 2 decks, mic, the game. I think there were a few other bits in there. I'm pretty sure it was around about 220. It was around about that price, 220, 250, something like that. And at the same time, DJ Dance Station came out, which was £45. Imagine, you know, the parents were a little bit strapped. Went, which one should we go for? I think we'll just go for Dance Station. And yeah, lo and behold, it got shelved. They did downloadable content for a while. I think they still might be doing it. I'm not quite sure. I don't think they are. But yeah, we were making DL content for a while, but then they just had to shut shop.
Damn.
It's just the way it rolled, man. It's the way the cookie crumbled. But my
God. The whole
God.
world changed, man. That's crazy.
What a ride that was.
That's crazy.
Decade ago. It was a decade ago.
Yeah, absolutely was. There might be. Have they not sort of done like a sort of 10-year-old sort of DLC pack?
I think because Activision, they've sold it on because it's now owned by Ubisoft. Like,
yeah.
Been churned and I think it's
they're doing, I'm just looking at Ubisoft sort of like release schedule. They're doing like various Call of Duty things and all sorts of mad, like
all shoot 'em ups, man. That's
yeah.
You know, the shoot 'em up games, like they generate more revenue than some Hollywood movies. It's mad.
No, they generate, like, it turns out that
and they less.
They actually make the one computer game, I forget what it was, but you know, it's the TV show I keep talking about. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right. So the creators of that created a show for Apple TV, which is called Raven's Claw. Something Banquet. Hang on a second. Let me just get this right. Raven's Claw. Anyway, it's based around computer game programming. It's a sitcom. And it turns out that the creator of Grand Theft Auto as a franchise, has earned more than Star Wars.
Wow. There you go.
Which is like, what?
And you know what? It's fascinating. Because as you know, I do a lot of podcast production at the moment. And one of my clients is this store account. Shameless plug here, by the way.
Vince saying Mythic Quest. There you go, Mythic Quest. Raven's Banquet. That's the one.
And they've just we've just launched their new podcast, Business Without Bullshit, which is fantastic.
Sorry. One thing. Grand Theft Auto 5, one game has made more than the whole of Star Wars.
One game? Wow! How mad is that?
Game.
Come on. How mad is that? And okay, what numbers are we talking here?
Okay, so it's made a total of 6 billion, and Star Wars it's made more money than Star Wars or even Avatar.
And here's a fascinating fact that I learned via one of these podcasts because we
Sugna's saying, isn't Ravenclaw Harry Potter? I mean, excellent geekery there.
Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
I know, Sugna. But check this, with games, I just find this fascinating. The industry says they've just now reached the point where film was in the 20s. in terms of the state of technology, like in terms of the ability of gaming, where they are as an industry is where film was in the 20s.
Yeah.
In terms of
its
trajectory. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Look at it now.
Totally.
Look at what now, if they've literally just started scratching the surface of their possibility. Can you imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years' time? It's fucking terrifying.
Well, really. I think honestly, the whole idea of remote processing or sort of real-time processing and rendering is the critical thing. So the whole use of the Unreal Engine with the Mandalorian, like the TV, you've seen, you're on our man's group. We talk about Star Wars all the fucking time. You hate Star Wars, right? You're not really a Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
So the TV show The Mandalorian utilizes essentially the engine that does rendering for Fortnite for all their fucking backgrounds.
Oh, does it? Right, there you go.
In real time. So you can shoot in real time, and the parallax scrolling is all done in real time.
And it's the same
engine powering them both.
There
but
you go.
The thing is that it's about the interaction. So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, was that, the games are where everyone's at. So there's social media that everyone knows about, but everyone's also on games. So the fact that Star Wars, for example, for their last film, had a plot point that was announced in game in Fortnite is fucking mad.
Oh, really? They broke it in a game? Okay, I don't know these.
They broke it in a game as a marketing thing for the film, and you think that the idea of the impact of like social networking, all that kind of shit, has had on elections. The impact of gaming is a whole other fucking ballgame.
Yeah, man. That's why you're seeing freaking Drake turn up on, huge Twitch accounts.
So Kartik's saying virtual production. Yeah, they call it. I think they called the actual name of the unit they created. Larian shooting. So, 1 second. They call it something else. They call the essential holodeck. They call it something else. They call it the something. 1 second. I want to get that right. It's basically a giant 360 LED screen, and they shoot that.
That's insane.
They shoot within that. What's it called? They call it something like the hub or some shit like that. But it's right. It's virtual production where you're back. Anyway, you were saying. Sorry, I cut you off.
That's all right. I can't remember what I was saying now, to be honest. But yeah, I can't remember. What was I saying?
We just got very excited about computer game technology.
We did. Yeah.
Oh, basically we're talking about the impact of social media on the world and how gaming is yet to follow. But I realise now I've said that is that gaming is regulated.
And one of the regulating bodies is this company called Yuki, which I did produced a podcast episode on, which was fascinating. But anyway, that's really boring technical stuff. Let's not go there. Like the government chat. Oh, do you want to go there?
Why not? We're fucking, having whiskey and talking. Why not? It's basically me and you in a bar with eavesdroppers, so it's fine.
It is. So yeah, Yuki is it's the first, I'm pretty sure it's the first official body which regulates and supports the gaming industry like no other has before. It was a while ago that I did the episode. Do you know what? I'm not gonna paraphrase because I might get it wrong.
Yeah.
But all I say is actually, do you know what? I'm gonna send you a link. You already like listening to this episode, actually, Nerm.
Okay.
I'll send you a link to the podcast. Check it out for yourself. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah. But I think that's the point, is that the whole regulation of shit, and the thing is, computer game litigation has happened from when it became a big deal, like when it first became a big deal. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same with every single medium. So you've got print, you got the radio, you've got telegraph, you've got TV, satellite, and now the internet, which is still pretty much unregulated unless you cover it with old media regulation, which is why social media is such a fucking shit show. But as soon as we said about gaming, is that there are pre-existing laws that determine like content. You know what I mean? There's there's age appropriate content already. There's already regulation about, I don't know whether there's political regulation in computer game content or video game content, sorry. But I think there's age regulation for sure.
I know UP is one of the bodies that acts as a filter for all of that.
Okay.
Roundabouts, generalized way. Check it out. Spelled capital U, capital K, and then lowercase I-E, Yuki.
Okay, cool.
I think you'll find it, interesting. You're into that kind of stuff.
Do you know what? Actually, another thing that I was jealous of, right, by the way, And also, Karthik, you're totally right. You are spectating on a video chat. That's basically what these conversations are, is me getting drunk with a mate, and you're all invited to listen. That's why we don't talk about naughty things.
And it's a bit different to his normal chats, by the way.
No, they're not.
Because it's me.
It's exactly the fucking same.
Is it the same? All right. Actually, it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, man. But I was going to say, actually, I forgot. You just derailed me. What was I saying?
Hi, I don't know.
Bastard.
You were like, you wanted to speak about something else.
No, there was something I came to in my mind. And now it's gone.
I don't know. Was it about games or was it about another part of my life that you...
It was... No, I wouldn't talk about your life because I know way too much about it already. But I think it was about sort of just how things are moving forward in terms of regulation. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now. The kind of things that I'm jealous of you about is not only the Prodigy gigs you've been to, but because you hate computer games and you don't like Star Wars and you don't like Batman and you're not a fucking nerd about anything.
I absolutely do love Batman.
Yeah, but you're not a nerd about it, though.
Not a nerd. No, of course not.
So there's a computer game which like is legendary amongst Batman fans and computer gamers alike, which is Arkham Asylum, right?
Yeah.
And you don't remember this, which is why it's even more fucking annoying. Is that do you remember there was a thing at BAFTA that we went to where everyone was unveiling, all these developers were unveiling their games, and you were like, it was an industry thing that you invited me to when DJ Hero was first being unveiled, and it was just nerd central, but business nerd central.
Yeah, I think I do actually. Where was that?
Right. It was at the BAFTA Centre in Piccadilly, right? It was at the BAFTA sort of building.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
Right, I walked in, and they were test driving the Arkham Asylum game there. So the whole team was fucking there.
Didn't you?
Mate! And I was like, why the fuck is D here? He doesn't give a shit about any of this. No, what the fuck is this? Oh, I want to fucking, like, what?
Hanking the champagne. I remember.
Bastard. And that was another thing. I was like, shit, there's the developers of Arkham Asylum right there.
And I'm like, whatever.
Damn, man. And also, I think that's the other thing, is that the future of franchises. Like, you know, I was thinking about how, you know, we discussed how musicians are making fuck all money, gigs are over, but the consumption of content is really high.
Yeah.
So what they've done now in Fortnite is you can drive vehicles and choose radio stations. So suddenly there's music in Fortnite.
Okay, sync. Yeah,
just like Grand Theft Auto. So it's like
they have money to pay their sync bills.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's just mad. There's a whole new level of consumption there that's starting to ape other games.
I mean, yeah, the real money's always been in publishing, really, in terms of not long term, but yeah, your silent but big and very healthy checks do many comes from publishing.
I think so. I think actually, you know what? I can say this publicly now, but this is quite funny. So the first time I discovered what publishing was basically we were like, it was post like a really, really traumatic time in my sort of mid-20s when we had to sort of set up the label and do all this kind of shit. And I was working many, many, many jobs and struggling to create stuff. And I was sort of, you know, downloading and printing out articles in magazines to set up my own record label back then. And it was like 2005, 2004, I think.
2000, yeah. That's what set up the label for Mumbai Cells.
Yeah, exactly. Shiva Sound System was set up as a label then to release Mumbai Cells that did produced on his Mac. And God, fucking hell, looking back at this, it's hilarious. So, like, downloading all these articles to figure out how to register as a record label, set up as a business, all this kind of shit. And then I found out about publishing, and I was like, yo, for every time a record's played on the radio, we get paid. It's like, what?
You know what? They used to pay good, you know.
They still do. So it depends on which station. So Radio 2 still pays the most money for stuff, because the concept is that anything that's out there at a gym or a restaurant or in a shop is consumed by the public. It's music that's being consumed. Hey, Yazzie, how's it going? And then that was that to me. And I remember you were just like, is this a scam? We get paid for being on the radio. What? Yeah. Complete.
I was used to pay thumbs to play pirate radio.
Exactly.
I was used to paying to get on fucking radio, let alone be paid to have my music played on radio. Do you know what I mean?
And that's where sort of major pop artists get the majority of the revenues, by being on massive playlists. And there's that whole art versus commerce thing and whatever. But that's the system. That's how it works. And I remember we would sort of draft the first publishing article, like, let's have a publisher. And we set it up. And then I think we were a little bit drunk. We were at my old flat. And I printed that article and we signed it. And then the next day I was like, D, you know, you signed over your publishing to me for life.
All of it.
All of it forever. Forever. Like, okay, we're going to shred this document to start.
Anything that I've made, Nerm owns forever.
And it's just, you know, it's just, oh shit, that was a bit of a mistake. We're going to shred this, bruv. Okay, fine. But yeah, publishing is the key, man. Owning the shit that you do is the key.
It's the key. And right now, by the looks of it,
it's more important than ever, man. Yeah.
The only way, you know, any musician's really going to make music. But equally, it's not something that happens overnight, like with everything. But anyway, yeah, it's
a point where you can see. I mean, the reason why I mention this is because, you know, it can seem quite disheartening not being able to make money out of what you love. Do you know what I mean? Or make a living, particularly in these situations where you can't DJ, you can't fucking perform, there's no hope in sight, really. But it actually comes a point there's a way of kind of navigating through that shit, which is why I mentioned it.
Yeah, no,
it's a positive. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. You know, it's just about, I mean, one thing that we're good at as humans is adapting, right? Just navigating through all the madness and surviving and adapting. And, you know, I have high hopes that the music industry is going to find its process of adaptation and you know. I
mean, music's being consumed at a fucking, an increasing rate.
It is, but it's also being devalued equally at that rate.
Exactly. So wait there, I need to wee. So Yazzy's asking you a question. I'll leave you to answer her question, which is, how are you spending your lockdown days? I'm gonna go wee and come back.
Did you ask me, Yazzy? Who have you asked?
Yeah, answer it.
So how are you guys spending your lockdown days? I'm spending my lockdown days. To be completely honest, not that much has changed from like a normal life. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm a complete introvert, but like when you work in a studio, you spend a lot of time in the studio. So things haven't changed that much. What has changed quite fundamentally, and what I feel as I've been affected by the most, is just not knowing now that if I did want to go out, that my friends are all there ready to go and see, because that kind of possibility of a situation doesn't exist anymore. That kind of, you know, that safety net of a possibility, it's been taken away because everyone's at home, kind of, I wouldn't say scared. I'm not saying everyone's kind of living on a basis of fear, but everyone's kind of doing what they're told by the government, however you want to put it. So I suppose that sense of isolation is just deepened somewhat. But as a result, I mean, I'm very thankful that I am quite disciplined in terms of like keeping myself busy and staying on the productive and the optimistic side of things. But I've just kept my head down and just working, really. Yeah, doing dad stuff. And just trying to kind of, you know, make each day as possible, really. And just watching the world fucking crumble.
You're so happy and positive, D. Do you know what I've been doing? Is just like avoiding that and like getting into Star Wars and mainly.
I've spent, you know, most of the days being as productive as possible. That's all. You just caught the end part. That's all.
I did. Yeah, watching the word crumble. Excellent.
Am I wrong? Anyway.
Oh, here's an interesting question. Bosky Chirin is saying, how about a Nerm and Decode special COVID release EP?
Do you want the Robert Miles Children remix remastered?
That is so shit. I'm trying to think, actually, what's the last thing we did together audio-wise? Oh, it was Anushka's remix.
Yeah.
That was not bad. That was actually pretty good.
That was out there.
That's out there. That's pretty good.
Out there, yeah.
Actually, you had a release on RAM before, which came out. Did that come out in COVID times?
Yeah, that came out in April. Yeah.
So there you go. You had a COVID release.
We had a COVID release. Yes, we did. Yeah. Which was
really
cool.
So it's like Decode and Silence, which is excellent. Yeah.
So after driving Lolita, I teamed up with my brother, my dear brother, got back to our drum and bass roots, and I've been making some real deep, soulful shit.
I've got to say, Driving Lolita was a shit show. It was a glorious shit show, but it was a complete shit show.
It wasn't bad, man. Think about it. Look, dude, within 1 year, we were on the BBC introducing stage.
Hey, Ninja's here. Hello.
Yes, Ninja. What's going on?
So go on. Within 1 year.
Think about that. Within 1 year to 18 months, right? Yeah, we were on the BBC introducing stage. We were playing the main stage festivals. We did India, which was fantastic. What else did we do? We did Maid of Vale.
Yeah. Yeah, Prash is here. Wicked. Hello, Prash. How's it going, bruv?
Bruv.
Same tour,
right?
actually, as well. Same India tour.
Same India tour.
With Prash and Nick and Carla. Yeah, man.
A load of fun. So yeah, for the length of time that it lasted, because life did kick in after that. I became a dad and things went a bit wonky in my personal life. All good though. Yeah, unfortunately, I had to pause driving Alita because I had to focus my energy elsewhere, let's say.
And that's why the album took like 2 years to make.
At the end of the day, because, you know, I'm a dedicated dad, without sounding too woke. It's not about sounding fucking woke at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, it's true. Yeah, come 2016, press the reset button. And by the way, Driving Alita's it's still paused in my head.
Mate, it's fucking, do you know how many people talk about it still? It's fucking insane.
I'm not done with it yet in terms of an idea and a platform and an excuse to experiment to that level. Do you know what I mean?
It was an exceptionally good band.
Do you know what I mean? And it's not locked. It's not locked. It can be opened. It can be opened. It's just about getting to that point. But you know, in the meantime, and it was in 2016, I wanted to get back to my roots, find myself again, all that kind of stuff. And I did that by teaming up with my brother, Silence, as Decoding Silence. And yeah, as we said, we'll be making some real deep, soulful drum and bass, halftime, melodical music. It's quite therapeutic, actually. I mean, it's like, I was
going to say, like your production kind of reflects what's happening in your life, because you've got all fucking like all vegan, all sober, all fucking like bendy and yoga-y, and then
no. What are you talking about? I've been on this trip for the last decade.
Mate, are you telling me? Okay, honestly, you're talking to me, right? At the peak of the Driving Alita madness, right? The kind of punk rock and roll thing that Driving Alita was, that your lifestyle hasn't changed from then to now.
Dude, don't you remember? It was after. Was it after DJ Hero came out? But it was at the beginning of 2010. That's when I locked everything off.
Okay,
it was
bruv. I'm just saying, right? On a real, is that your whole sort of self-care thing really began post Driving Alita, is all I'm saying. Because then it equated to your music that you're making, is all I'm saying. There was like a general kind of
was actually,
switch.
dude, for you guys who have no idea what we're talking about, in 2010 I went completely clean. I stopped drinking, I stopped taking drugs, I stopped like doing all of the naughty stuff, because it was fucking mental for a few years, and I was mentally exhausted, I was physically exhausted, I was very myself. It wasn't a case of me being an addict or anything like that, nothing of the sort. I could just see where it was going, and I was just very self-aware about who I was and the kid that my parents brought up. And in other words, I knew I didn't have the excuse to become the fuckhead that I was becoming at the end of the day. That's how it's working.
So the exhaust of all of that was Driving Alita. Because it was a raggo rock and roll fucking outfit.
So you mean that was
aggressive? Yeah. That's what I was saying. As a creative, the outlet of that was that. Yeah. And recently, the soulful, more fucking considered stuff you're making, I believe, is because of that switch in lifestyle.
Switching? No, but the point is that switching lifestyle happened before all this deep melodical stuff.
So maybe it took a while to percolate through the system, perhaps.
What, fucking 5 years? No.
Yeah.
That's a bloody time. No, that all happened when I got divorced, and life kind of essentially fell flat on its ass for a while. You know, for me, I went through a massive reset. The music that started to be made at that point and has evolved into whatever it is now was just very therapeutic for me. You know, it was expressing the emotion that I was feeling at the time. I was about to say, and my brother got it. Not to say that he was going through depression or anything like that as well, but it was just
like as a support system. He understood what you had.
Yeah, no, it's not as if it was something that was spoken about. It was just that's was coming out, and we were just rolling with it, and it was getting. You know what I mean? We were making these honest pieces of music, and they were getting signed, which is everyone's dream, everyone's intention at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? They want to make music that they get signed, and so we just carried on rolling with it. And yeah, we've had a few kind of ups and downs over the last few years, but yeah, this year we had a release on Program, which is a sister label of Ram Records, which is pretty cool.
Which we know you're a massive fan of because of Part 1. So yes,
yeah, it was a big box tick for me. It was a really cool moment. And then COVID happened. Oh no, during COVID.
Yeah, which is awesome. But talk about big. Go on.
Have Badman Vivek. Are you still here, Viv? No, I don't know if you are.
It might have come and gone.
We had Vivek remix us, which was just amazing, and Delens as well, who's a fantastic kind of say halftime. He's not even a bass music artist. He's a thing of his own. He's amazing.
So that's interesting. So yeah, big up Viv on the remix, and big up Viv generally. He's a gangster.
Yeah,
gone through his own fucking routine path as well. Actually, a fair play for sort of turning that into art. But that boy Cray, it's a great name. Is saying, when can we expect some heavy, dark aim and smashers? No foghorns, please.
Oh, you never hear a foghorn from me ever. Ah, here he is, Viv. We were just bigging you up, bro.
Dude, I mean, for someone sober, you're acting as drunk as I am. Like, Viv, we were just bigging you up, bro. Yeah.
Just bigging you up, bro. Now, there were some really cool moments because, as you know, yeah, like those, I wouldn't say coincidences, but just those dots being joined, you would never have imagined it, right? Decode Silence, Vivek, Program, all doing something together. What a beautiful moment. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it always makes me smile a lot when I think about it. And it took a while to get that project to that point, as you know. But it was worth the wait, man. It was worth the wait for sure.
Yeah, totally. I think it's weird, actually, because I think there's more, there's kind of almost this aggressive need for an expression now. Like I was saying before about when governments or regulation or whatever things tend to clamp down on people, art tends to respond. And Driving Lolita seems to be quite appropriate now.
Bro, I'm thinking the same. Trust me, I'm thinking the same thing. And like I said before, it's on pause. I just had to get back into the space to get. I think not even a reason to make it, but as you know, man, it's all about timing. You can have the fucking sick.
I just want to clarify to everyone, right? D's really shit at timing. Like every time an album should have come out, D's still finessing some fucking process. And it's always a year late with D. Always a year late.
Oh, shut up, man.
So, by the way, this Driving Lolita thing that needs to happen right now will happen in like 5 years. Like, yeah, that's the response to that.
That's a dickhead. Shit. Fuck you, man.
Fuck you, man.
But what was he talking about? You made me all mad. I'm gonna go and make a tune now.
Good.
Thank you. What were we talking about? I forgot what we were talking about.
We were talking about Driving Lolita and the whole thing that went through all of that, and
yeah. No, it was ascending, wasn't it? It was getting to its peak, and then my ex-wife fell pregnant, and then our relationship went up shit creek. I have no problem in talking about this, by the way. This is fine. I
mean, you're mentioning it. I didn't ask you, so I mean, clearly.
I don't know. I'm just giving everyone the story. That's why Driving Lolita essentially had to be paused, because everything that was supporting the whole process kind of went a bit dodge. But it's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. Let's just leave it there.
Nice. Hang on, here's another question here. Actually, Bosky Shirin is asking some great questions. D, who would you love to do a collab with? Any artist that you'd really love to do a collab with? It's kind of like the same words in different ways, but yes.
Who would I love to do a collaboration?
And Yazzy's right. Yeah, it's all about Indian timing. Like just typically late.
I'm not going to go there now. Anyway, who would I love to do a collaboration with? Ba, 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 ba. I haven't thought about it for a while, to be honest. I'm really.
Jack White, obviously.
Oh, like are we thinking Driving Alita now or Decode in Silence?
Everything, whoever the fuck.
I was thinking Decode in Silence. Yeah, Jack White would be amazing. Actually, not even Jack White, Dead Weather. Jack White as Dead Weather. Fuck, oh my god, that would just be like an absolute dream come true. As Driving Alita, Queens of the Stone Age would be amazing.
But no, fuck that. I mean, like, remember that Prodigy exclusive we got on Radio 1, which was the Prodigy with Dave Grohl on drums?
Yeah.
Right? So Decode in Silence with anything from Jack White, whether it's a fucking scream or a bit of feedback.
I do remember that. Was that Zaki saying Dio about to have? It's coming, bro. I'm telling you, man. I've been working. I'm silently doing my thing. I'm silently doing my thing. Do you know what? There's a bunch of really kind of like small up and coming producers, which you know, catching sight of on Instagram, who are really fucking doing it for me, man. Like there's this one guy called Juggernaut, and he's so authentically hip hop. And his lyrics and his caliber just blows my mind every single time I see him. And I've got more of a want to do a tune with these, you know, these small up and coming, but incredibly powerful and hungry artists, as opposed to anyone big at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And Juggernaut's one, actually. Big up to Juggernaut, because that guy, man, just check him out on Instagram.
What's his Insta page?
It's Jug. So Juggernaut, yeah, literally Juggernaut.
Yeah, but Juggernaut's also a big fucking truck. So if you went to Instagram.com/Juggernaut, you'd find a truck.
That's true. I can't. Do you know what? I can't remember his handle. Vin, you're still logged on. Can you put his handle in the comments, please? He knows who he is.
Juggernaut.
He's such a bad boy.
Huh.
His dad used to be a musician, and his dad regularly features in some of his freestyles in his video as his drummer.
Sick.
It's just fantastic, man. He reminds me of he hasn't got the same flow as Sonny Jim, but he's from that side of hip hop. But he's just
Birmingham?
Yeah, he just fucking no. He's not from Birmingham. He's from Nottingham.
Yeah. Oh shit. It's the same like Midland crew.
But he's a bad boy, man. He's a bad boy. Love him. Yeah. Anything? I'm feeling the underdogs right now. The underdogs who are keeping it real, you know, and because there is just so much noise out there, the authentic ones are really poking through.
Nice,
you know. So yeah.
So a little bit like your toes through your shoes, because you have massive feet. What size are you actually? Everyone's been asking about your feet for time. What?
Size 12. I think my toes have got a bit bigger, so I might be like a 12 and a half.
Do you know what I say about big feet?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, big socks.
Dickhead. Such a dickhead. Love it. There he is. He's put his handle in the comment section.
Yeah, but the comments won't stay. So it's at JUGANAUT.
Just listen to this guy drop bars. He's amazing.
So it's essentially the spelling of Juggernaut with one G.
What, Vin? You didn't know it was a size 12? Come on, man. What the hell are you talking about?
Dude, I mean, the amount of times that I've seen you fall over your own feet is fucking ridiculous. Like stone cold sober, you fall over your own feet and you look more fucked up than me.
I think I've fallen over.
The comments are exploding. Big up the Bigfoot. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah, shoe sizes don't go that high. I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's ridiculous.
Love it. It does happen often. I'm not going to deny that. Unfortunate.
It's ridiculous foot you've got there. I mean, that big toe alone is the size of your head.
I did quite nervous walking down really dodgy pathways when I can see kids slab. I'm like, fuck, you know. Like walking.
Dude, you must be a sick swimmer though.
Minefield. What's that?
You must be a sick swimmer.
I'm a really good swimmer.
You've got flippers.
I'm a very good swimmer. Yeah. And my feet do aid the whole projection forwards.
Right. So one more story that I wanted to tell, right?
Yeah.
Before we call this a night.
Yes. Jesus Christ, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. It
There's
is.
so much work to do, man.
These things fly, man. It's ridiculous. So talking about ridiculous stories. Yeah, and in fact, you're right. That boy, hang on a second. That boy Cray says, yeah, he doesn't need those skis to go down the mountain. It's very true. So going back to this one night in Brixton when you were DJing, and it was your birthday.
Such a bastard. You're such a bastard. You could have it.
So this is back in the days, right? So it was Dee's birthday. It was hot, sweaty summer. It was a hot, sweaty summer in Brixton, and he was DJing with vinyl, because that's what we did. You know, there's no CDJs. This is like records, right? So Dee's DJing in this packed pub. It was the Prince, right? It was Kish's night. It was the Prince in Brixton. And a dear friend of ours had been out on the rampage for 3 days beforehand, and hadn't washed for 3 days. And this is back in when, 2006, maybe even earlier. I think it was 2003, maybe, actually. This sounds more familiar. So Dee's there DJing.
I can't even have my hand near my face now.
So Dee's there, you know, dipping into his wax and DJing and shit like you do, like, you know, like a pisshead at like a Chinese buffet, just like just dipping in it out, you know, on a mad one. And our dear friend was like, "Watch this! I'm gonna go say happy birthday to Dee, right?"
Get back one day. Watch. I swear to God.
And I'm not naming names, right? So, but he walks up to Dee, and he hasn't washed in like 3 to maybe 4 days, and he'd been raving. It was all sweaty, and it was summertime vibes. And he goes to Dee, he's like, yeah, safe. So Dee is like, DJ, like, yeah, safe. And then my mate grabs his hand and just puts it straight into his crotch with his flies open. And there's all like straight in with like 6 days of scar. And
my hand was moist. It was moist when I got my hand back. You don't understand the trauma I was dealing with at that particular point. I was like, oh!
Amazing. And so, you know, obviously Dee's got this like dirty, sweaty hand.
And then our friend just trots off. But you know what? Great story.
Couldn't touch any records. Couldn't do nothing. Just stood there with records playing, just going, what do I do? Love it.
I couldn't even wipe my jeans because I didn't want to get the dirtiness on my jeans. Do you know what I mean?
He's proper like 4 or 5 day nutsack sweat.
Bandit.
Just,
oh God.
I bet it reeked as well. They couldn't even hold it near you.
It's not even an exaggeration for this, with like making it sound exaggerated. I'm not. My hand stunk. My hand stunk. And this, our friend's a bit hairy, you know, like he's not one to, let's just say, like, you know, grooming isn't his thing.
No, there weren't a couple of screw there.
Especially down there. Especially down there. You
Exactly.
can imagine how fucking stinky it gets down there, right? Well, how sweaty he was.
After 4 days.
Good luck of it.
So there you go. So now, thanks to COVID, that will never happen again because we all carry hand sanitizer. We all carry masks. It's all good. There's a positive to everything, bro. So yeah, man.
You know what I love the most? We've got 18 people watching it. It's the most we've had for the last 2 hours, and they all just caught this one story. This is it. This is all they know about.
It's been a turnover, bro. It's
that guy rubbed down his mate's fucking pants. Great. Fantastic.
Love you, bruv. Wicked. Well, thanks for this, bruv. You stepped into the firing line. Appreciate it, man. And I'll fucking see you tomorrow anyway. So yes. Yeah,
hey, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you all for joining us. This will obviously be archived, and you can watch this ridiculous story whenever you want to, and relive Dee's pain. Bye.
Bye.